Meet Mzungu, a 4-year-old female giraffe and one of the National Zoo's newest residents.
Is it breakfast time?
Like all the keepers here, Amanda Hadley is passionate about the animals she cares for.
I have one of the closest bonds with the giraffe here at the zoo, I would say. I respect them, they respect me, they know that I feed them food, they give me love for it, so it's a pretty cool relationship that we get to have with them.
Mzungu is one half of an exciting new venture. The zoo has joined the giraffe breeding program for the first time. With the final touches on a new purpose-built enclosure, it's almost time for the next step. Mzungu will meet Shaba, a young male from Mogo Zoo on the New South Wales south coast.
I'm interested to know how they react to one another. Mzungu has come from a large group down at Dubbo Zoo, and same with Shaba, so because she's been by herself for a little bit, I think she'll be rather excited when he arrives, so I'm excited for that.
Giraffes may be new territory, but for the zoo, breeding and conservation is core business.
I would say close to 80% of the species that we hold here are in some form of managed program, and that will continue to, probably one day in the next 10 years it'll be close to 100% because that's the way things are headed.
There's nothing simple about this work. Breeding programs for each and every species are carefully managed. Sometimes acquiring an animal can take years.
For the more endangered the species, that often happens at an international level. So for critically endangered high-profile species like tigers, for example, that's managed at an international level.
For each species, there's a stud book which monitors genetic lines and takes care of the matchmaking.
We've had a lot of success with breeding zebras and red pandas. Red panda is an international stud book, so that's been really great news. We've done really well with that.
Easy. You're right.
One of the success stories is Kaimani the zebra. Born here, he's in training, ready to be moved on as part of the breeding program.
Essentially, we're trying to put them into a box that they're not familiar with, so we need to make sure they're nice and comfortable with it before we actually try and push them in there.
For Shaba the giraffe, moving day has arrived.
We came down here in time for their training first thing in the morning, which happens around 8 o'clock. So hopefully he'll just treat it like a normal day, walk on the crate, and then we'll be good to go.
Sounds simple, but there's been months of planning.
D-Day, which is today, which is travelling by road. There's a lot of background information that needs to be sought and pick the right route and make sure there are no low-hanging branches or anything like that. So a lot goes into it.
So, with a truck waiting, cranes at either end and special travelling permits, the team from the National Zoo waits. Now the entire operation depends on Shaba and whether he walks into his travelling crate.
This is, I think, probably the third attempt today, but we're closer than ever, so I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, he's still jumping around a bit, so we still need to shut that main door.
Soon after, success. Shaba's trip to Canberra was delayed slightly when the crate he was to be moved in ended up being too small. This one is on loan from the Melbourne Zoo. Shaba's been getting used to it over the past few weeks. Time can be critical in this case though, because Shaba's simply getting too big. It takes an hour to lift the crate onto the truck.
But it's always very nerve-wracking for me anyway. When you're moving, we're moving a very big animal today, and yes, we've done it a few times in and out, and yeah, if I could keep them all, I would.
Let's go. All right.
Apparently, Shaba's not worried. And the road trip to the capital begins. keepers and a vet keeping close watch, he's a model passenger.
Apparently he's quite chilled, pretty laid back and just a really cool dude apparently.
With more than a few curious glances along the way, he arrives at his new home 4 hours later.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see him here. It was a really smooth ride and I can't wait for him and Mzungu to meet, so I'm really excited for that.
And it doesn't take long.
Who's this guy? He's pretty handsome. Come on.
To us, it looked like love at first sight.
Cute. Oh, love heart, get it.
The patter of baby giraffe feet weren't expected anytime soon.
They're still fairly young, so I would think probably at least sort of 2 years away. But they're quite a social animal, and so they like being together.
Mzungu and Shaba really like being together. A few weeks in their new home and they're inseparable and surprising the keepers.
We have seen a few attempts at mating, so hopefully in the next 14-16 months we may see a little giraffe. Fingers crossed.